Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Lauryn Efird's boyfriend comes with lots of financial baggage. Lauryn Pumpkin Efird's boyfriend seems to come with a lot of financial baggage. Yikes, this is shocking to fans. Lauryn has jumped into a relationship with someone who is in financial trouble. Is this the best idea for her and her children? However, fans just want her to be happy and love her life. Keep reading to find out more about this. Josh and Pumpkin were married for 6 years. However, that ended recently. Lauryn revealed that the marriage was broken and there was no fixing it. This shocked fans greatly. No one expected this. The two of them seemed happy. However, they filed for divorce. Once that became public, Pumpkin was quick to show off her new lover. Pumpkin and Josh agreed to share custody of their 4 children. Lauryn introduced her new boyfriend, Darren Kitchens, to fans on social media. The two went to a Zach Bryan concert where they posed for a picture with the caption, "Darren Kitchens seems to have 4 small court judgments against him." This shocked fans. The first one is from his former landlord in 2016. The amount is unknown. The second is from Midland Funding LLC. This is a debt collector company. He has $1,443 in unpaid debt that he owes to the company. The third one is against him and the mother of his child. WP Land Management says he owes them $4,667. The last claim is from Credit Acceptance Corporation, which is an auto finance company. He owes them $14,060. This is a lot of unpaid debt that he has been taken to court for. Fans wonder how Pumpkin feels about all of this. Does it worry her that he won't pay for things they buy and get into more trouble? They should probably keep their finances, separate the entire relationship. What do you think? It seems that Darren is in some financial debt. However, this does not seem to be a problem for Pumpkin. However, not only is he in debt, but he also has 4 small claim court judgments against him. So does this concern Pumpkin about money troubles in the future? Regardless, she seems to be happy with Darren and living her best life. What do you think about his financial baggage? Lauryn Efird's boyfriend, Nathaniel, was charming, affectionate, and full of aspirations. But he also had something that lurked behind the gleam of his smile, an unseen weight that threatened to overshadow all their dreams, a mountain of financial baggage. When Lauryn first met Nathaniel, he was like a breath of fresh air. He had a way with words that could brighten any room, and a smile that could melt the coldest heart. His sense of humor was infectious, and his ability to make her feel understood was something she hadn't encountered in a long time. They connected on shared values, dreams of traveling, building a cozy home, and possibly starting a family. But beneath this seemingly perfect match, there were hints of a deeper issue, shadows that danced just out of view whenever the conversation veered into the territory of money. It started small. Jokes about student loans, offhand comments about how credit cards were a trap, and sighs whenever the topic of budgeting came up. Lauryn noticed, but at first she brushed it off. After all, everyone has some kind of debt these days, right? The world was expensive, and no one was entirely free from the clutches of financial strain. However, as time went on, it became increasingly clear that Nathaniel's situation was far more than just a manageable burden. It was during a quiet evening at Lauryn's apartment that the truth began to unravel. They were sitting on the couch, discussing their future together, a conversation Lauryn cherished, imagining the life they could build side by side. Nathaniel looked down at his hands, twisting them nervously. "Lauryn," he started, his voice tinged with uncharacteristic hesitation. "There's something I need to tell you. I've been avoiding it, but it's only fair that you know." Her heart skipped a beat as she braced herself. He took a deep breath before spilling out the truth in a rush of words. His student loans weren't the only issue. Nathaniel had racked up a significant amount of credit card debt, far beyond what Lauryn could have imagined. The list of debts seemed endless: unpaid medical bills, a few bad investments that had backfired, and even a car loan that was months behind. He had been drowning in financial obligations for years, barely able to keep his head above water, all while trying to maintain an image of carefree optimism. Lauryn listened quietly, her heart sinking as the reality of his situation dawned on her. She had always prided herself on being financially responsible. She had a savings plan, paid her bills on time, and made careful decisions about spending. In contrast, Nathaniel's financial habits were reckless, a reflection of his belief that he could somehow figure it out later while enjoying the present moment. That later had arrived, and it was clear that he was struggling. For days, Lauryn wrestled with what to do. She loved Nathaniel, there was no denying that, but love alone wasn't enough to erase the debt that threatened to pull them both under. Could she really build a future with someone whose financial past was so tangled? Every time she imagined their life together, she couldn't shake the image of bills piling up, arguments about money, and a persistent sense of dread hanging over them both. But the thought of walking away from someone she cared about so deeply was equally painful. Nathaniel, sensing the weight of what he had placed on her shoulders, tried to reassure her. He was determined to make things right, he said. He had already started looking into debt consolidation programs and planned to sell some of his belongings to pay off at least a portion of what he owed. He was even considering taking on a second job, though the idea made him grimace. Despite his efforts, the road ahead seemed long and arduous. Every step toward financial freedom would be slow, filled with sacrifices and setbacks. Lauryn found herself torn between admiration for Nathaniel's newfound resolve and frustration that he had let things spiral so far out of control in the first place. One evening, after yet another conversation about their finances, Lauryn decided they needed a different approach. "We can't just keep talking about the numbers," she said. "We need to understand why you got here in the first place." Nathaniel looked at her, surprised by the shift in tone. "What do you mean?" "I mean, there's a reason behind every decision. We need to figure out what led you to make those choices. If we don't get to the root of it, we'll never fix it." It was a hard conversation, one that peeled back layers of insecurity, fear, and ultimately, the belief that he wasn't enough without appearing successful. Nathaniel had spent years trying to keep up with a lifestyle that was beyond his means because he feared being seen as a failure. Every swipe of the credit card was a desperate attempt to maintain an image that had now crumbled under the weight of its own falseness. As they talked, Lauryn realized that Nathaniel's financial baggage was more than just a number on a statement. It was a reflection of how he viewed himself, his worth, and his relationship with the world. Understanding this didn't make the debt disappear, but it gave them both a new perspective on how to tackle it. In the weeks that followed, they set up a strict budget and opened a joint savings account, not because they were merging their finances, but to start building a foundation of transparency and trust. Lauryn helped Nathaniel create a realistic payment plan, and he began attending financial counseling sessions to learn better habits and deal with his underlying anxieties about money. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. There were arguments, moments of doubt, and plenty of times when they questioned whether they were strong enough to endure the strain. Lauryn had to constantly remind herself why she was choosing to stay. She loved Nathaniel, not because of who he pretended to be, but for the flawed, vulnerable person he really was. And as difficult as it was, there was something beautiful about seeing him take responsibility, face his fears, and strive to be better.